1990s Japanese sports cars. Japanese automotive manufacturers had built up their abilities over the previous decades, and as they entered the 90s, they wanted to showcase what they had and make a name on the world stage. By creating performance cars that had better reliability and lower prices than no names like Ferrari, Japanese manufacturers created an era of amazing vehicles. When the 90s JDM cars were being conceived in design rooms full of engineers, it was not a time of what car can we build with a limited budget or best fuel economy. In fact, it is well known that this era of cars got labeled as over-engineered. The Japanese automotive manufacturers had one job: to build the best sports cars that they could be proud of, without most of today's environmental or safety concerns. But there was no question that this was a competition between the manufacturers, a fight for who could make the best car. With all fights of this nature, there are rules, and one of those rules was called the Gentleman's Agreement. The Gentleman's Agreement started in the 70s in Japan because bazooka gangs were being wild and causing accidents and fatalities. There was a sense that speed was an issue, so the Japan Automobile Manufacturers Association suggested regulators to cap speed at 180 kilometers per hour. Manufacturers agreed because they wanted to be corporate citizens. In the 80s, there was still major numbers of road deaths, so manufacturers decided to keep horsepower under 280. This agreement remained in place until 2004, when the JAMA chairman told the public that there did not appear to be a relationship between speed and deaths. Right around the same time, the Honda Legend was the first car to officially break the limit with 300 horsepower. The Nissan Skyline GTR, the Toyota Supra TT, the Mazda RX-7 FD, Nissan's 300ZX TT, the Mitsubishi GTO, also known as the 3000 GT VR4 in the US, and the Acura NSX took the world by surprise. I apologize if I do not include the Evo or STI, even though they are definitely cool cars. The Nissan GTR has 3 chassis, and they all carry the RB26 DETT engine. Then you have the Mark IV Toyota Supra, the 2JZ GTE beast that is beloved by everyone. Known for its performance and its role in the Fast and Furious movie, it is a cool car. The FD RX-7 is so sleek. It also has a sequential twin-turbo system, but this car was equipped with a Wankel rotary combustion engine. At just 1.3 liters, this awesome engine could make some power. Matched with the sleek and lightweight body of the RX-7, it made for one of the best handling and looking cars Mazda ever made. The Mitsubishi GTO, also known as the 3000 GT VR4, is an all-wheel drive technological pioneering sports car. It was also equipped with twin turbos and carried a lot of features. Features like the active aero system that are common in high-performance cars of today were an option in the Supra and 3000 GT. The Supra had an active front lip, while the VR4 had both an active lip and an active rear spoiler. The VR4 even had adjustable suspension via a button. These cars were ahead of their time for sure. The Honda/Acura NSX is another legendary car. It had the first aluminum chassis and is considered not only an iconic car but one of the best driving cars. Jay Leno said his favorite car out of his collection is McLaren F1, which took inspiration from the first generation NSX. We also can't forget Ayrton Senna's F1 world champion helped tune the suspension. The NSX was a mid-engine car designed to compete with the likes of Ferrari and Porsche, and it is without a doubt one of the best built cars of all time. The Toyota Supra, R33, R34, the Mazda RX-7 FD, and the Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4 all came equipped with a sequential twin-turbo system. These cars were rocket ships, and some say they knew that with a few minor upgrades and modifications, these engines in these cars could easily handle double their power. The manufacturer knew their audience, and one group that took it and ran was the tuner and auto enthusiast. If you have sat in one of these cars, you could tell that there is something special about them. Driver-focused dashes and the small details in vents and buttons really show that these cars were built with thought and most of all love. The reliability and extra attention to both the performance and overall experience of driving these cars was unparalleled. But these cars were not cheap by any means. In the 1990s, the sticker price of a Supra at the dealership was around $45,000 to $55,000. Using the S. Morgan Friedman's inflation calculator, that is roughly between $70,000 to $95,000 in today's money. The NSX was more of an exotic car in the 90s with a hefty price tag of $60,000 in 1990. Yet, Toyota stopped selling the Supra in 1998 in America and in 2002 in Japan. The Nissan Skyline GTR, R32, R33, and R34 never came to the States, and the RX-7 stopped selling in the US in 1995, with 2002 being its last year in Japan. The Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4 GTO was sold from 1990 to 1999 in the US until 2000 in Japan. The NSX was sold from 1991 to 2005.